everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. This is Karen.
Welcome back, everybody. I am Shane.
Today we're looking at part 2 of carbon dioxide, a necessary greenhouse gas. And the vocabulary words are amount.
Amount.
Kyle poured a small amount of ketchup on his plate.
Creative.
Creative.
Ali has a creative mind and is always coming up with interesting ideas. Like me.
Really? Capture.
Capture.
The hunters set up a trap to capture foxes.
Separate.
Separate.
Megan separated her dark clothes from her light clothes.
Pure.
Pure.
The ring is made of pure gold. So we're still talking about carbon dioxide, CO2.
Right, the wonderful thing that is in our soda pop.
That's right. And we're talking about like the problem occurred this past summer in the United Kingdom.
Right. So because of this, we're thinking about, okay, what are some creative ways that we can either reuse CO2 or create CO2 so we don't waste it in case there's a shortage, right?
Yes.
Okay, so one way to do that is there's a company in the United States, and it uses the CO2 that it produces to turn it into water.
Okay.
To help cool the system that is being used there.
Okay, so you save water.
Right, so instead of using other water, they create their own water to help cool the system, which saves energy and is better for the environment.
Wow, and then also, I think different companies are coming up with creative ways to use CO2. A company in Europe, actually, they pose in air and separates CO2, and then so you have pure carbon dioxide, and then they would sell it to drink companies like
to make Coke.
That's right, or like, you know, soda, different kind of drinks.
Right, because there's one thing we can't do without is soda, right?
Well,
so the real point of all of this is that CO2 is quite necessary. It can be bad when it's just put into the environment, but if we can capture it and use it for purposes in our lives, then it's actually quite useful.
You're right. Okay, let's learn more about carbon dioxide. CO2.
Carbon dioxide, a necessary greenhouse gas.
The CO2 shortage in the United Kingdom showed that we need the gas, even though we still should limit the amount of it in our atmosphere. To help find a balance, companies are coming up with creative ways to reuse the gas.
Welcome to Live Interactive English Magazine. Today's lesson is called Carbon Dioxide, a necessary greenhouse gas. Part 2. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I'm Mike. We're learning about carbon dioxide, or CO2. It's part of our atmosphere. It's part of the natural world. We need some of it in the air that we breathe, but too much, well, it becomes a greenhouse gas. It contributes to global warming, and parts of the world don't have enough of it. We learned yesterday that in the UK, this past summer, they were running out of it. They didn't have the carbon dioxide they needed to keep their fruit fresh, to put bubbles in their drinks, or to make their fire extinguishers work, and it was all because of bad scheduling.
This CO2 shortage in the UK was kind of a big deal. Further, the CO2 shortage in the United Kingdom showed that we need the gas, that we need CO2, even though we still should limit the amount of it in our atmosphere. So yes, CO2 is bad. Up in the atmosphere, it's bad. It's a greenhouse gas, but it's also necessary, okay? CO2 shortages are not a good thing.
Exactly. An amount, this noun, is a measured portion, all right? So, for example, if you're ever baking or cooking, they might tell you to put in 1 teaspoon of salt or 3 cups of milk or something like that. That would be an amount. Often it's a measured portion. You don't just throw some in, you make sure you're putting in enough, not too much, not too little. When you're eating in a cafeteria, the person serving the food will give you an amount of food. They often don't say, oh, take as much as you want. No, maybe they give you 1 spoonful. This is the amount of food that each person would get. For example, Kyle poured a small amount of ketchup on his plate. So an amount is some of something, not exactly being told how much, but it is a measured portion.
Now, if I were going to be fancy, I could say an amount is a quantity. Quantity, quantity. Anyways, CO2, it's bad, but it's also necessary. So there's a balance that we need to strike with respect to CO2. Yes, to help find a balance, companies are coming up with creative ways to reuse the gas. So it sounds like these companies, they're getting artistic. Okay, yes, here we have the adjective creative, and no, these companies, they're not becoming art companies, but they're trying to think of new and ingenious and original ways to reuse CO2. That way, we won't create more CO2 and put it in the atmosphere, but on the other hand, we won't have CO2 shortages either. Anyways, for example, Allie has a creative mind and is always coming up with interesting ideas. Yes, she's artistic or original in that way. She makes connections that other people wouldn't between weird things or seemingly weird things. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的课文读到，二氧化碳是空气中含量过多的一种温室气体。不过，二氧化碳还有许多重要的用途，所以太多太少都会是个问题。那今年夏天，英国的二氧化碳的短缺，就让人们意识到，我们是需要这种气体的。不过，即便如此，还是应该要限制它在大气中的量。为了要找到这个平衡点啊，各家公司都在想创意的方式来重复利用二氧化碳。我们先来看2个单字 ，amount 表示数量、总额。那我们第一天补充的这个 quantity 这个名词呢，它也有量或者数量的意思。下一个单字 creative，它是形容有创意的、创造性的。那么 Jeff 老在解释单字时用到2个形容词，一个是 ingenious， 它是拼作 ingenious，ingenious 表示有创意的，或者可以指精巧的、巧妙的。老师还用到 original， 它是拼作 original， 那这个形容词可以形容原先的或是独创性的。至于补充单字 atmosphere， 它可以用来指大气、大气层，也可以用来指我们呼吸的空气，或者是还有气氛的意思。接回课文中
Carbon dioxide, a necessary greenhouse gas.
One power plant in India captures the CO2 that it creates as a byproduct. It then turns the gas into baking soda to be used in people's homes. An American-based plant built a system that would turn its CO2 into water. This liquid is used to cool the plant, thus reducing its water usage. A company in Europe pulls in air and separates CO2 from everything else. It sells this pure CO2 to customers such as drink companies. Another company in Canada has discovered a way to convert CO2 into fuel, which can be used to power cars and planes.
All right, before the break, we started to learn about companies that are trying to come up with creative ways to reuse CO2. Next, we're going to learn about one of these companies. Apparently, this power plant we're talking about is in India.
That's right. It says one power plant in India captures the CO2 that it creates as a byproduct. So here, it's kind of like one of those fertilizer plants in the UK we learned about in day 1, but here it's a power plant. This could also be known as a power station, the kind of place that they burn gas or use nuclear power to make electricity that we then use in cities and in our homes. Well, as part of making electricity, one of the byproducts is that they can capture this CO2 that is produced. And to capture, this verb means to trap something and to hold on to it. We would capture animals if they run away from a zoo or something like that. A fisherman might use a net or a hook to capture a fish. And if a prisoner escapes from a jail, the police will search the area because they want to capture that criminal and bring them back to jail. So it's loose, you don't want it loose, you want it contained and controlled, so you try to capture it. For example, the hunter set up a trap to capture foxes. Here the hunter is trying to catch and keep the foxes, capture them. So this power plant in India is burning oil or coal or something like that. CO2 is produced. They trap, they capture that CO2. What do they do then? Well, it says it then turns the gas into baking soda to be used in people's homes. Wow, so they can turn this gas into baking soda, which is a white powder that people use in their homes. You can use it for cleaning, you can use it for baking, and if you put an open box in your fridge will smell fresh.
Anyways, let's go to America now. An American-based plant built a system that would turn its CO2 into water. Yeah, the first thing I think, H2O, CO2, there's got to be a way that you can turn one into the other. You just have to make a slight chemical change. So anyways, they turn the CO2 into water, which is great. Now, do we drink it? No. This liquid that they create, it's used to cool the plant, thus reducing its water usage. So no more CO2 in the atmosphere, and they're wasting less water than before.
There you go. So both companies are keeping the CO2 from going into the atmosphere where it will be a greenhouse gas, and they're using it for another better purpose. That's great. What about in Europe? Well, it says a company in Europe pulls in air and separates CO2 from everything else. So this company's kind of doing it in a backwards fashion. They're taking just the air that we breathe, they're pulling it into their machine, into their factories, and then they're separating CO2 from everything else that's in the air, like nitrogen and oxygen, helium, things like that. Let's learn about this word separate, and then we'll find out what the company does after they separate the CO2.
Now, as Mike just said, air is composed of multiple gases. There's oxygen and nitrogen and CO2, all sorts of stuff. Apparently, though, this company in Europe is able to separate these different elements. It sucks in air and it says, okay, CO2, you go here, nitrogen, you go here, oxygen, you go there. When they separate these things, they're causing these things to be apart, or they're making them be apart. For example, Megan separated her dark clothes from her light clothes. She's doing the laundry before she puts the stuff in the washing machine. She takes the light stuff, puts it over here, takes the dark stuff, puts it over here into separate piles, or she separates those two things. And yes, the verb is separate. That's the word we just talked about. Now, more on this company in Europe. Just like the Indian company did, it sells baking soda. This company in Europe is also selling stuff too.
That's right. So they've separated the CO2 from the other chemicals in the air, and what happens next? Well, it says the company, it sells this pure CO2 to customers such as drink companies. So that's where the bubbles in your drinks might come from. They're getting pure CO2 from a factory. The factory is getting it just from the air that is all around us. Now, we notice that this is pure CO2 that they're selling. The adjective pure means there's nothing else in there. It's 100% that thing. So this CO2, if you opened one of their tanks and tested it, there would be no oxygen, no hydrogen in there, nothing else, 100% CO2. If you buy a bottle of 100% pure orange juice, you know that it's only orange juice. They didn't add water, they didn't add any chemicals or special flavors or things like that. It's 100% only orange juice. For example, the ring is made of pure gold. No tin or silver or lead.
Only
Only
gold,
gold.
and that's that.
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to move on and talk about a company in Canada. Another company in Canada has discovered a way to convert, or to convert CO2 into fuel, which can be used to power cars and planes. How about that? You burn fuel, you make CO2, and then you turn the fuel back into, you turn the CO2, I should say, back into fuel. How about that? All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be right back soon.
有一家印度的发电厂把它所制造的副产品二氧化碳变成家里可以使用的小苏打粉。好，文中的 baking soda 就是指小苏打。小苏打有很多用处，它可以用在烘焙啊、清洁、除臭等等，而且还不会造成污染。那另外有一家总部在美国的工厂，他们设置一套系统，可以把二氧化碳变成水。然后呢，这种液体不是要拿来喝的哦，而是用来冷却工厂，来减少用水量。这边有一个单字是 capture 是当动词，表示捕获、获得。另外文中的 power plant 是指发电厂，这个 plant 在这边是指工厂。而复合形容词 American based 表示总部是在美国的。课文接着提到说，有一家欧洲公司把空气抽入之后，把这个二氧化碳分离出来，再把这种纯的二氧化碳卖给饮料公司之类的客户。那还有一家是在加拿大的公司，他们发现一种把二氧化碳转化成燃料的方法。那这种燃料可以为车子和飞机来提供动力。我们先来看两个单字 ，separate， 它是动词，可以表达使什么分开、分离。那这个字也可以当形容词用，大家要特别注意发音哦。当形容词是念作 separate， 那它是用来形容个别的、不同的或是分开的。下一个单字 pure 是形容纯净的、没有混杂的。那么补充单字 convert 它是动词，表示转换或是转变。我们可以用 convert A into B 来表达把 A 转换成 B。那么 fuel 是指燃料。顺便学一下刚刚两位老师提到的一些气体 ，oxygen 它是拼作 oxygen， 那这个字是指氧气。nitrogen 它是拼作 nitrogen， 那这个字是指氮气。还有 hydrogen 它是拼作 hydrogen， 那这个字是指氢气。这回课文中。
Carbon dioxide, a necessary greenhouse gas.
All this is good news for everybody. Although our goal should be to reduce the amount of CO2 in the air, it is still important that we understand how vital the gas is to our lives.
The future is looking bright CO2-wise. It looks like a lot of companies are coming up with a lot of good ways of getting that CO2 out of the air. And yes, all this is good news for everybody.
Absolutely. We don't want too much CO2 in the air. It leads to global warming, and also we need it to do many specialized jobs, as we've learned about. So our article wraps up with this sentence: although our goal should be to reduce the amount of CO2 in the air, it is still important that we understand how vital the gas is to our lives. It's true, if you read the news about the environment, you'd hear CO2 and you'd get the idea this stuff is really bad for the environment. Why don't we just get rid of it? Well, because then we wouldn't have, fizz in our drink, our fire extinguishers wouldn't work, and our fruit would all be soft and rotten.
And what would trees and plants breathe if we got rid of
True.
all the CO2?
Yeah, they need it too.
Really makes you think. All right, speaking of thinking, what do you think? Do you know of other creative ways that CO2 is being used?
Well, another way that CO2 is being used creatively is to desalinate water. This is kind of a cool thing, and it might become important in the future because water is becoming a precious resource. A university in Canada has found that they can use CO2 to desalinate. That's to take the salt out of seawater to make it drinkable. And in a world where people need water, this could be really, really useful.
Sounds fantastic. Anyways, folks, with that, our very encouraging lesson on CO2 is now in the books, and it's time for us to say bye-bye.
Take care.
看到这么多公司以创意的方式来重复利用二氧化碳，对我们来说是个好消息。虽然我们的目标应该是要减少空气中的二氧化碳量，不过了解这种气体在我们生活中有多么不可或缺，还是很重要的。最后来看补充单字 vital。vital 它是形容至关重要、非常重要、必不可少的。那刚刚 Mike 老师提到二氧化碳的另外一个用途呢，是可以帮忙除去海水中的盐分，将海水淡化变成可以饮用的水。那老师说的 desalinate 这个字是拼作 D-E-S-A-L-I-N-A-T-E。那这个动词它可以用来表达除去什么什么当中的盐分。好了，那么以上是这个讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。大家好，我是 Hanny。在今天的课程中，我们要介绍4个文法重点。第一个是 turn A into B， 第二个是不定词做主词补语，第三个是 it is 形容词加上 that 子句，第四个是 WH 疑问词引导名词子句。首先，我们来学习 turn A into B。turn 做及物动词可以指使转变、使变成。turn A into B 表示将 A 变成 B。那么其中的 into 可以用 to 来代换。那这个句型也可以用被动语态 A be turned into B 来表达。来看2个例句。They turned the old warehouse into a restaurant。他们把那间老旧的仓库变成一家餐厅。The prince was turned into a frog. 王子被变成一只青蛙了。另外 turn 也可以做不及物动词，那么 A turn into 或是 to 加上 B 表示 A 变成 B。例如 If you heat ice, it turns into water. 如果把冰加热，冰会变成水。接着我们来学习不定词做主词补语。不定词也就是 to 加原形动词，可以当主词、受词或是补语用。以不定词来当主词时，必须视为单数。来看3个例句。To win the game is difficult. 要赢得这场比赛是很困难的。那句中的不定词片语 to win the game 是做主词用，后面搭配单数动词 is。They agreed to share the rent. 他们同意一起分担租金。那么句中的不定词片语 to share the rent 是做受词用。Her dream is to become a scientist. 她的梦想是成为一位科学家。那句中的不定词片语 to become a scientist 是做主词补语用。接下来我们来学习 it is 形容词加 that 子句。句型 it is 形容词加上 that 子句表示某事是怎么样的。那么其中的 it 是虚主词，用来代替真正的主词 that 子句。例如 It's obvious that Nick has a crush on you. Nick 喜欢你这件事很明显。最后我们来学习 WH 疑问词引导名词子句。WH 疑问词 what, where, why, when, who, which, how 等等可以引导名词子句，在句中做主词、受词或是主词补语用。例如 I don't know how the fight started. 我不知道那场争执是怎么开始的。那句中的名词子句 how the fight started 是动词 know 的受词。以上是今天重点整理，我们下次见喽 See you next time. Bye.
美食打卡，食物很美味，只会用 delicious 吗？
欢迎收看就爱讲英文，
我是悠悠。
DJ
你知道现在有网红文化，而且有美食打卡当道，每个景点一定要标签打卡 ，OK， 打卡美食，打卡人气，打卡餐厅才 fashion 哦。
烦死了，对，所以我们今天要跟大家分享5个美食打卡和形容食物口感的5个实用句型。1 Let's check in here. 2 ，tag me in the picture。3 The food looks finger licking good。4 It's marvelous, it's tasty, it's superb。5 It's crispy, it's chewy。
首先呢，台湾人有一个民族特色，就外国人都叹为观止，就是菜一上来呢，手机先吃，打卡拍照，这个很重要，对不对？
真的很烦，对。好，那
但是大家都喜欢这样子啊。
是啊，然后还要打卡，打卡就是 check in。check
in。
对 check in 呢，这个跟到饭店入住变成是一模一样的片语哈，就是
check in
入住，我要入住这个餐厅，就是 check in，打卡啦。
而且我们不但打卡，还要跟菜拍照，
对
有没有？然后还要标签自己，
来
一定要哦，好不好？
我们来打卡好了 ，Let's check in here。Let's
check in here。
Let's check in here， 好，在这边打个卡吧，这样。
那还有啊，就是要贴标，一定要标签自己。
对，主题标签，对不对？主题标签呢，这英文
这个，
这个是什么？就是 hashtag 就是这个井字，好，你不要什么，为什么都要打一个井呢？
一定要。
好，这个 hashtag 其实很好用哈，你点下去的时候就会搜寻跟你一模一样的主题，好，比如说 J 最帅，好，hashtag J 最帅，然后点下去，你就会发现没有任何人，
没有啊，
就是没有人用这个标签这样 ，OK， 好。
那如果是上面别人拍你。
好，
你知道怎么？标签我，
标我，对。那台湾人很多人念错哈，就是 tag me in the picture。
哦，台湾人就会说 take me，take
me， 你要 take 我
，take 对，
对啊，你要 take 我这样
，take 了
，take 是带，好不好？你要把我带走。哎
呀，不要这样子，
我们还没拍完，不能带走，所以是 tag， 念好 tag， 再一次 tag me in the picture。Tag
me in the picture。
对，你要标注我这样。
对，不要再说 take 了 ，OK，no。而且美食这个正题，哇，怎么形容都是这不同的这个口感啊，食物要怎么说呢？
不要只会用 delicious，delicious 太正式了这个字，就是美味到了极点，真的是
每一个都 delicious 不好玩。
对，就没有层次了。所以这个东西好吃到
食指大动。
对，你可以说 the food looks finger licking good。
是什么？
对 ，lick 是舔的意思。所以 finger licking 就是舔手指头。比如说吃完
鸡爪，
肯德基鸡爪，
对不对？
盐酥鸡，然后就把那个胡椒盐都舔掉，有没有？
是
，finger licking good 这样。
finger licking good，
手指大动，对。
哇，还有没有其他说法？
对，美食啦，或者是景点啊，你都可以这样用。It's marvelous。It's marvelous 就是棒呆了，这样惊呆了，太棒了 ，marvelous， 或者是呢 superb
跟 super 很像啊，
对，就是 super B 好 superb 超棒的这样，超牛逼 ，it's superb
超火红，
超棒的这样 ，marvelous superb 就是好的不得了，
好的不得了。
对，
所以呢，你可以简单的表达食物好吃，也可以用最简单的字是
tasty，it's tasty，就是某著名牛排馆，对不对？就叫叉题，
什么题？
好，那个西叉，对 tasty，
tasty， 还有比如说盐酥鸡或者鸡排面，夸气的那个，或者有嚼劲，
很酥脆，很嚼劲很脆。就是炸鸡啦、饼干都可以用 crispy 来形容。crispy。The fried chicken is crispy.
The fried chicken is crispy.
这个炸鸡炸的超酥脆的这样。好，那
牛肉干，
对，很有嚼劲，嚼劲。然后这个很 Q 啦，
很 Q。
英文呢不是说 this is very Q， 没有，very chewy。Very chewy。比如说 the steak is chewy。
哇，这牛排很有嚼劲。
对，
来看我们今天的。
Live action.
Honey, let's check in here first.
Sure. All right. And don't forget to tag me in the picture you took.
Okay. Look, the food looks finger-licking good.
Yeah, it's superb.
And the fried chicken is so crispy. I love it. Yeah.